Welcome to Wines du Jour. We're here at one of the best French restaurants in all of Las Vegas called Marché Bacchus. It's not in the downtown area. It's quaint. It has beautiful food, and they also have a retail store that sells 90% French wines. Great stuff. Tonight, we are celebrating some of the French food with Spanish wines. We've got a gentleman from the winery in Spain, brought 3 of his brand new released wines. We're going to taste those along with some great food from the kitchen here at Marché Bacchus. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after these messages. Thanks for joining us on Wines du Jour. We're broadcasting tonight from the delicious Marché Bacchus Bistro Restaurant in Las Vegas, Nevada, where you should be. Actually, specifically in Desert Shores, which is a very exclusive part of Las Vegas. So welcome to America's #1 syndicated wine radio show, Definition Television as well. And we're going to bring you great information about good food here at Marché Bacchus, and also great wines from, believe it or not, all the way from Spain, just for us to taste tonight. We have a unique guest audience of about 40. They're all hungry and thirsty, and so tonight here at Marché Bacchus, we're going to get started with a little bit of wine as we speak. Each broadcast, we remember that something is very important about wine, and that is that wine is food. A meal is a meal, but with a glass of wine, it's a celebration. From casual gatherings to formal affairs, wine celebrates any event. So, sit back and relax and enjoy the next 60 minutes while we discover more information about taste and flavors from wine and food. So you know, everybody enjoys a glass or two of wine, and I promise here tonight on Wines du Jour, the information that we're going to share with you this evening will be in normal terms, because snobbery or intimidation is not allowed in the room during the show. Wines du Jour is distributed in all 50 states, all around the world via radio, CRN Digital Talk Radio Network, High Definition Asian TV, Satellite Audio, Global American Broadcast Network, and on 6 different internet outlets, all live, right here. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So, my name is Les Kincaid, and I thank you very much for coming to Wines du Jour. So don't touch that radio dial or that TV remote. We'll be back with good information, great taste, right here, Wines du Jour, Marché Bacchus French Bistro Restaurant in Desert Shores in Las Vegas. Before we go to a break, however, I want to mention a little bit about Spain, because a lot of people are not aware about Spanish wines. Now, everybody knows that there's a country called Spain. Some people even know fairly close to where it's located, not too far from some of the foreign countries that we know about, one of which is their neighbor. It actually shares shore with it, and that would be the country known as Portugal. But the beautiful part about Spain and their wines is they have a lot of regions. It's a very large country, and there's several regions throughout Spain, and each region has its own terroir. We've talked about terroir many times here on Wines du Jour, and the terroir in Spain is very versatile. One of the things I happen to like is a country. It's not a country per se. There's a group of people. They're known as Basques, B-A-S-Q-U-E, the Basque people. They have their own little country, although it's not recognized as an individual country. It's a region that they live in, and everybody refers to it as Basque. But it's in Spain on the border with France, and I have to tell you, some of the finest food in the whole world comes from that Basque country. And being a chef, very curious about all different sorts of foods. I discovered the Basque food. One of their favorite meats happens to be lamb, and they are also vegetarians in a pretty big way. So the combination of the vegetarian dishes, as they call them, and lamb, you have to say it's a great place to visit. So if you get a chance to go to Spain, and the very north central part of Spain is Basque country. So between the Spanish wines and the chef, we're going to have some good food. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back coast to coast right after these messages.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're here at Marché Bacchus at Desert Shores in Las Vegas, Nevada, where you should be. And I can't think of a better place in the whole world to go visit is right here in Las Vegas. Las Vegas has been the entertainment capital of the world forever, and it's not going to change. There isn't any area in the whole world that has more great entertainment than we have right here in Las Vegas. And so here's the place. Come to town, rent a room, have a meal, and I would say rent a car, because it's about 10 miles, I think it is, from the Strip to Marché Bacchus, and you have to come here for a meal. This is considered by the professional food writers in the Southern Nevada area as the #1 French restaurant in Las Vegas. Another thing that's kind of unique about Marché Bacchus I want to mention is that they also have a retail wine store. If you come here for lunch, and you have a glass of wine, and you discover a wine that you weren't familiar with it because the sommelier or your food server has introduced you to a new wine and you like it, guess what? You can buy it and take it with you when you leave. That's a pretty good deal. What kind of prices they charge you? They give you really good prices. So they have some wines that aren't available in most retail wine stores and possibly not in the town that you live in. So while you're here in town, come to Marché Bacchus, have a good meal. Well, I guess the best and first thing I should probably do is introduce you to my guest, because she's the one that's an expert on the 3 wines that we're going to share with everybody this evening, coming from Spain. These wines were just brought into America for the very first time. So they're brand new, and that's a good thing for us. We are actually tasting the wines for the first time in America. That's pretty cool. I thought the best thing to do is to get Claudia Ponce here to come over and tell us a little bit about them. Claudia, thank you very much for coming over and allowing us to share these wines with us here at Marché Bacchus.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to some of the first tastings of our wines directly from Galicia, Spain. We also want to thank Jeff and Rhonda, the owners of Marché Bacchus, because they gave us a chance to be here with Chef Les Kincaid featuring the wines. And one of the main reasons of why we did this here is because you can find our bottles right here in their wine shop. So we really hope you can enjoy them. They have been here just for a few months, and they are from 2 very good and different DOs in Spain. The first one you're trying right now, it's from a DO called Rias Baixas. This is in Galicia, in a region that is in the north of Portugal, as the chef explained. And this is made in one of the biggest wineries in Spain, where Albarino is produced. Albarino is one of the white grapes that is more recognized or renowned from Spain.
Well, Albarino, not to interrupt you, but Albarino is the most popular white grape in Spain. It's kind of like in America, the most popular white grape is Chardonnay. So it's like the Spanish Chardonnay. Doesn't taste exactly like Chardonnay. I think it tastes a little bit better, frankly. But it's very, very tasty, and it goes very well with food. Sorry.
Exactly. No, thanks, Chef. And then I would just like to add that this bottle that you are tasting now, the name is Altos de Torona, and it's a very interesting blend of grapes. It has 85% of Albarino, and then 10% of Caíño and 5% of Loreda. So we would really like to see what you think of this blend. And I'm sure that with the pairing that Chef Dave Middleton did for tonight, you will have a good experience.
Well, you know, the chef being of the French background, if you will, a little more on the formal side, this is a challenge for them, for the chef in terms of the wines, because obviously he's never tasted them before. They've never been in America. So he took a bottle of this and tasted it, and he's come up with something that I'm going to share with everybody, and they're going to bring it out for everybody to taste. But what he's done is taken some crab and some fresh, what they call pasta over there. In America, we call it pasta. Some fresh pasta, and made a ravioli, a crab ravioli, with confit cherry tomatoes, which is pretty nice, roasted baby leeks. Who doesn't like roasted baby leeks? Along with a little tarragon beurre blanc. Now, beurre blanc is a nice little light sauce, and it has the flavor of tarragon, which is has kind of a licorice taste to it. And that tarragon and the licorice taste with crab is an absolute perfect match in itself. And then when you take that and pair it with this wine, you're going to be perfectly surprised that this is wonderful. I want you to know, this has what I would call a very long, lingering finish to it, is that this wine by itself is very well balanced. I'm going to ask you, Claudia, can they, in a couple months or a couple weeks, go to a store, let's say in Florida or in Maine, and order the wine from their favorite wine store?
Thanks for asking that, Chef. They can absolutely start checking our webpage, www.winefromgalicia.com, and you will be able to place orders online. Okay, we're going to have e-commerce available in our webpage. And of course, hopefully within, I don't know, less than 6 months, we'll be able to have some more stores in different states. So far, we have stores and restaurants with our wines in California and here in Las Vegas.
Nevada.
In Nevada.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back coast to coast and around the world on the internet right here at Marche Bacca's French Bistro in Las Vegas, Nevada, where you should be. Be right back.
Switch to DirecTV today and get a free upgrade to the all-new Genie, our most advanced HD DVR ever. Genie serves your entire home with just one receiver, allows you to record any 5 shows at once, and gives you up to 3 times more HD recording capacity than cable. Order now and lock in your savings for 2 years. Other packages start at just $29.99 a month. So get all your TV wishes granted. Switch to DirecTV and get your free upgrade to Genie today.
Back to Wine du Jour. We're having a good time here at Marche Bacca's French Bistro Restaurant. And, you know, we talked about the Albarino and the other 2 varietals that have 5% each, and so it's not very much. This is a wine that will go with a lot of things, not just the crab ravioli that we have here that the chef has put together. But let me tell you some of the other things. If you have shrimp, or if you have lobster, or if you have any kind of shellfish, it would go very well with this wine. This would go so well with some sushi, I can tell you that right now. And it goes pretty well with spicy food, or any type of spicy meat it would go very well with. And of course, 2 of the fruits that I think this just jumps out and says, I can take that, would be mangoes. Now, you can take mangoes and put them in salsa if you like. That's one thing you can do. Or another one that I like is passion fruit. So passion fruit with this wine, it would be delicious as a combination. So those are some of the things that I think that would go very, very well with. Now let's talk about wine number 2. And I'm going to ask Claudia if she'd explain to us about wine number 2. And before we do that, I want to mention something that I didn't talk about so far, is the cost. The cost of these wines. This beautiful first wine that we had is around $28, $30, $32, depending on what part of the country that you're going to be in. Okay, let's go to wine number 2. Claudia?
Perfect. Well, the second wine you will taste tonight, it's called Regina Viarum Godello. And with an American accent, I'm going to see if I can make it. Regina Viarum Godello.
That's
Something
good. You
like
did
that.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you can be surprised because the names are not that Spanish. Regina Viarum is actually Latin, and it comes from Latin because all these region where these two wines, this one and the next red one you will taste, are made in a region called Ribeira Sacra, which is like a sacred river. And it is because the Romans, thousands of years ago, were the ones that began all these region and were the ones that started growing grapes and making the wine. And that wine, it's the one they will take back to Rome for the emperors and for all their important people. So Regina Viarum means like the queen of the roads, because that Romans were very well known for the big roads that they built to connect all their emporiums. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that's why in some of her wines you will find names like this one, Regina Viarum, coming from Latin. Let's say the only way for them to grow the wine and do the harvest is by hand. So this wine and the second one you will taste tonight is hand-picked when the harvest happened.
Right. And Godello. Could you tell us a little bit about Godello?
Yes, this is a very unique grape that grows also in Ribeira Sacra. And this wine that you're tasting right now, it's a very special edition. They only produce 7,000 bottles a year.
This would be moderate in the taste, that it has a mature fruit nose to it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's been 3 months in barrels and fine leaves as well. So we hope you enjoy this.
And it's actually, it has good acidity and it's very well balanced.
I gotta mention, Chef, while you take a seat,
Please,
that
sure.
This is one of the favorite wines from the owner of the company, who you can see pouring the wine right now. He comes directly from Spain, and he grew up in this region where these wines are made, and his family sells grapes to the wineries to produce this bottle. So you're getting wine directly from the people, from the families, from the winery, right there in Spain.
That sounds pretty good. Now, what I'm about to tell you, I'm going to give you some other types of food that this goes with. But here's what the chef put together, and I think it's just a killer idea. And so they've taken Napa cabbage and braised it and put that on the base of our plate. In addition to that, they've taken sea scallops, which are pretty good. This has been seared, and the way you sear a scallop is to take an empty skillet, nothing in it, no butter, no oil, nothing. Turn it on to medium-high heat, and when it just starts to smoke a little bit, put the scallop in it with nothing on it, no oil, no salt and pepper, nothing on it. Put it in that skillet, and then don't touch it, don't move it around, don't play with it, just leave it there for probably 2, maybe 3 minutes. Then you can take some tongs and look at it and see if it's got a great color. If it doesn't, leave it alone and let it cook a little bit more. Then turn it over. When it comes to fish and seafood, there's a basic rule that chefs and all people that cook go by, and that is that for every 1 inch of thickness of the fish, or in this case the scallop, you cook it for a total of 10 minutes. So what he's done is taken the seared ski scallops and the braised Napa cabbage, a little bit of shiitake mushrooms, and then he's taken a little chicken stock that he's made and taken some of that and put it on the plate. So you look at the plate and you see a little drizzle, if you will. That's the chicken au jus, as we would call it. The braised cabbage. Sitting on top of that is a beautiful seared scallop that's got to taste wonderful. It's just very, very good. Anything you want to add to that?
I just would like to thank again Chef Dave Middleton. If whoever is here close to the door, you can see him working really hard, making these great pairings.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think, Chef, but I think he did a great job. And this is also something to pay attention to, because these are Spanish wines with French food, or Mediterranean food. So we regularly try to go with the same countries and the same food, and not necessarily. So I hope you are all enjoying.
Yeah, that's very good. And that brings me to a point. If you're in France and you order something to eat and the wine list has something besides French wine on it, and you say, oh, I like that and that would go well with this, go ahead and choose it. It doesn't have to be French wine with French food, Spanish wine and Spanish food. We'll talk more about that when we come back. Got to go to a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back. We're here at Marché Bacchus. It's a beautiful bistro. Be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Wines du Jour. We're having a very good time tasting some great food. We're talking about French food with Spanish wines. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but it really isn't. And I mentioned earlier that if you're in an area like France and you look at the menu and they have wines from, I don't know, let's say California as a matter of discussion here, and you say, I really like that wine, I think that's going to go really well with the food I ordered, go ahead and order it. You're not required to have the wine from the country that you're having dinner in. You can have wine from anywhere that goes well with it. The key is that it pairs well. That is what we're looking for. Now, we also have a saying, especially in Italy, because the Italians have more varietals in the country of Italy than anywhere else in the world. And guess who's second? Spain. But in Italy, they have over 200 varietals. Well, what that means to you and I is that whatever region that you're in, the wines that are made in that region, the grapes that are grown and the winery that makes the wine, probably because the saying is if it grows together, it goes together. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're not sure and you're in an area, try to find a local wine. You'll probably find out that the food that you've ordered is going to go really well with that particular wine. So that's one thing. On the other hand, if you're not familiar with the wine, that's the time to taste it. Because that's what we should do all the time, is to taste wines more and more and more. We shouldn't be in a rut where we always have the same red wine or the same white wine, period. And that's it. It doesn't change. We have it no matter where we go or what we order, and that's just not a good thing. Frankly, you're making a mistake to your personal disadvantage by doing that. You can do whatever you want because we always say drink what you like, but at the same time, we're talking about trying to get wine and food to pair together, because we always say here on Wines du Jour that wine is food, because it really is. Now, the medical profession says you should drink 1 or 2 glasses of wine every day. Wine is a food. And so if you can take the wine and pair it with the food that you're going to be serving to your family or your loved ones, let me tell you, the whole meal is going to be so much better because of it. That's what the key is. And I don't know how else to put it. Now, we're talking about Chef Dave Middleton and his kitchen. Let me tell you what they put together to go with this third wine. And this third wine is killer, I have to tell you. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But he's taken a little fricassee of poulette, or we would call it chicken fricassee. But fricassee, remember, this is French. So fricassee of poulette and bacon lardons. Okay, you say, what the hell is a bacon lardon? Well, it's actually, if you can find in your local market a piece of bacon that's all in one piece, and it might have a little extra fat on it, that's what you want to make a lardon. So you take it home, you slice it in fairly thick slices, and then cut it into little, let's call them 1/2 or 3/4 inch squares. That part of it is really something that's very good. And these lardons go great with chanterelle mushrooms, a creamy polenta, and a natural juice. And I have to tell you, here we have Dave Middleton, the chef here. How about a nice hand for the chef and the food that he's put together to go with these wines tonight. Good job, chef.
Oh, thank you very much.
You bet. How many people do you have in your kitchen?
Right now, 3, including
3?
myself.
Oh, right at the moment.
Right at the moment.
Okay. Chef, I have to tell you, Marche Bacchus has got to be so happy to have you here and the job that you're doing. I want to just thank you very much. Thanks for coming out. I'm sorry we didn't have more time to talk with you. We've got to go. If you've enjoyed yourself tonight, tell everybody you know. If you haven't, come on up after the show and we'll talk. You've done something wrong. You've been listening to Wines du Jour. We're on at the same time every week. So don't go anywhere. Come back next week and see us right here at the same time, the same taste. I'm Les Kincaid. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching Wines du Jour. We've had a great time here at Marché Bacchus. The food here is incredible. The retail store has got some of the best French wines that you can find in all of Nevada, all available to the customers that come here at Marché Bacchus. And of course tonight we featured Spanish wines, and unbelievable. The Spanish are really doing good, and they're starting to import wines into America, so you might want to check out some of the Spanish wines. Thank you for listening to Wines du Jour, and we'll catch you next time.